marijuana guy.
Needless to say, the UFC is the premier MMA promotion in the world. They house the best overall fighters in the sport. They were among the first to actually broadcast professional MMA fights, and they've inarguably been instrumental in making MMA a mainstream sport. With that said, the UFC is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Since the company's inception, they've continuously shown a complete lack of competence and understanding in many ways. From banning a type of elbow for being too dangerous, even though you're allowed to make scrambled eggs out of your opponent's brains in hundreds of other ways, to more serious shit like giving severely mentally handicapped people the power to decide the outcome of fights. A very complicated topic that everyone brings up when talking about potential improvements for weight cutting procedures is ONE FC's model. People make it seem as though it's a perfect universal solution to the weight cutting problem, but the more you look into it, the more you realize that we simply don't know if it is. So in just about every other organization, you're allowed to cut as much water weight as your heart desires. The problem is that there's a limit to the amount of water that you can cut within a period of time. There's a spreadsheet online outlining the exact weight of 120 fighters on the day of their fight. The average amount of weight they cut comes up to about 15 pounds, with a loss of just over 10% of their total weight. This is mostly fine, but obviously many fighters go well above and beyond this amount. And the problem with cutting an insane amount of weight within a week is that it kills you, which is exactly what happened to 21-year-old Yang Qianbing. Following this, ONE FC launched a new set of protocols that called for weighing their fighters multiple times before a fight, along with the implementation of hydration tests to make sure their fighters aren't killing themselves to make the scales. Additionally, they pushed all the weight classes up. For example, 170 is now lightweight, 185 is now welterweight, and so on. With this, they also introduced a 225-pound division. While the intention here is absolutely good, this new system spawned a host of problems. First of all, the type of hydration test they do is called urine-specific gravity test. Essentially what they do is they take a sample of your piss, dip a color-sensitive stick into it, and the color on the stick determines the specific gravity of your urine. Some recent research has shown that this type of test has severe limitations and isn't very accurate. Physiologist Oliver Barley has spoken out at length about this topic. It mainly has to do with singular urine or blood tests not being able to accurately determine the concentration of water in the entire body. Secondly, ONE FC did not do public weigh-ins up until 2019. Keep in mind, the system was in place for about 2 years until then. And actually, even after 2019, there were still many events that didn't have public weigh-ins. It also doesn't help that, at least to my knowledge, no athletic commission is overseeing their operations, which means that ONE FC can kinda just do whatever the fuck they want and not be held accountable. This is by far the biggest criticism of not only their system, but also their company. They are simply not the least bit transparent. I'm not expecting backstage vlog footage of ONE FC's hired team of scientists, but it's hard to trust a company when they rarely even show the fighters weighing in, even though they used to before they implemented the system. With that said, from what I've seen, the fighters of ONE tend to look far less gaunt and withered than those in other promotions. And to that point, fighters who came in from other promotions have stated that they feel far better since they are forced to fight closer to their natural weight. Some argued that this puts fighters at an inherent disadvantage, but these people usually point to just naturally small fighters like Demetrius Johnson or John Lineker. These guys are just small, they were undersized in the UFC, they're gonna be undersized everywhere else. ONE FC's weight cutting system is a very well-intentioned gimmick. It began as a reaction to a devastating blow to the company and to the sport, but while it seems like they've succeeded in their mission to limit weight cutting, the methods that they've used to do so have been extremely dubious. And to make matters worse, they've been about as open and honest as Johnny Tightlips.
Where'd they hit you?
I ain't saying nothing.
But what do I tell the doctor?
Tell him to suck a lemon.
The fact of the matter is, weight cutting is a necessary detriment to any combat sport, and the responsibility and consequences fall squarely on the practitioners. As long as you have two people who want to take each other's heads off, they will stop at nothing to gain an advantage. ONE FC's system is certainly a step in the right direction, but not a universal solution to the problem. That solution starts and ends with the fighters themselves.
Them. Whoa, thanks! Look, I'm like...